Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Fat Muscle Project podcast. I'm John Gorman, your host today. We have Lisa Franz in the house. Lisa, how are you?
I'm doing very well, John. How about yourself?
Pretty good, except it is massively cold here. Well, I say massively because the older and more, if you watch on YouTube, you can see all this gray. I feel the cold in my bones, and it's only early December. We've had one snow. I'm already old and cranky. Like it just doesn't feel good. And I know you're warm as hell. You're in a tank top down there. What
Yes.
temperature is it? Just piss us all off real quick. What's the
Yeah,
temperature?
about 90s, maybe 85 or so, but about 90s.
Yeah.
So yeah, can't complain at all. But I guess at least at this time of the year, you have like the Christmas spirit, because that is something that like I never feel Christmas spirit because it's hot. So it doesn't feel even after, I don't know, this is like my 16th warm Christmas, it still doesn't feel like Christmas.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it would. I know Leslie, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff today. I know we used to always talk about going to Tampa and buying a home in Tampa and going down there for the winter and all that, but I couldn't imagine being down there for Christmas. It just wouldn't be the same.
It's
So,
not. It's not. Yeah. But
yeah, so
I hear you nonetheless.
speaking of things, real quick, Christmas, we had a really good fat days of Christmas. We had a great Black Friday. We sold out on literally all the gooey butter cake. I can't remember if we talked about that on the last podcast or not, but
Yeah,
we
briefly.
are, yeah, we are in the middle. We just got a ton of new flavor ordered. So that's going to be coming soon. And we've got a
Cool.
bunch of new stuff to drop in January. So we're excited about that. Protein that we're going to be able to sell high quality for 49 bucks, which a
Amazing.
lot of proteins now are like $60 or higher. So a lot of new stuff on the business side to talk about. But speaking of business, let's talk about the business of just being a badass. And that's why Leslie Little Badass is on the show. Leslie, welcome back.
Thanks.
It's been a bit, you this is going to be a fun podcast because I don't think we really need to introduce you, but I'm just going to talk a little bit about the things that you've done. Because every time I ask you to do that, you're always like, man, I've done so many things, and you're always concentrating on what's going on. I'm one of those people, like I have it locked in my head, like everything that you've done, what year you did it. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to kind of give a real quick background on you as an athlete.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not good at dates. I can't remember dates to save my life.
Well, the thing is, you've done so much. So, for people that don't know Leslie, just a real quick kind of background on her as an athlete. Um, she started out in bodybuilding, really, as far as like when you and I met in 2007, and quickly started winning her class as a figure competitor, went on to win a natural pro card, competed as a natural pro. Um, Started doing powerlifting, won numerous powerlifting events, then went on to win the world championship, set multiple world records. I think the highest deadlift you ever had at 123 pounds is like 385 pounds. Like all these cool things that she did in powerlifting and still continue to do that all the way up to 2019,
Mhm.
after the age of 40 or somewhere around that 40 range. And then started doing CrossFit and then getting into things on that side of things. And then she jumped over and got her IFBB Pro card and figure and has not stepped on, which we're going to talk about, has not stepped on stage as an IFBB Pro, but really kind of dedicated her life to CrossFit the last, I don't know, Leslie, when would you say since like 2018, 2017, maybe?
17 is when I kind of started. After I did the powerlifting worlds, I got a little bored with powerlifting.
Yeah.
And they had CrossFit at the gym I was going to, and those guys over there just talked me into it. I mean, I was reluctant because powerlifters don't do cardio. So
Yeah.
yeah, I went over and I did my first workout, about died, of course. But they had a little small competition coming up, Lift Up a Child, and it's still going on. It's a really good competition. It's a fundraiser. And so I decided to jump in and do that. And they did a lot of, at that competition, they did a lot of mixture of CrossFit and strongman and um, even powerlifting a little bit in the competition. And I'm like, well, I could do that. Sure, why not? Well, we won it. Me and my friend Kate, we ended up winning it. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. So yeah, so that was about, yeah, that was 2017, like the spring.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
8 years later, you are competing in the CrossFit Games. So for like a lot of our listeners, most of us are bodybuilders or fans of bodybuilding. Like that's like if you make it to the Olympia, it's a really big deal. We're going to go through the whole process and ask Leslie about what it took to get there, what the qualification was like.
Mm.
But this was back in August. So yeah, 8 years in. And then Leslie, right now, a lot of people want to know how old you are. They're really going to be surprised. So like tell everyone how old you are.
You're not really supposed to ask a woman her age.
I know that, but I'm safe on the podcast,
I
right?
really don't even care because honestly, I'm proud of it. 46. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people think you're 40, right? So it's
I
something,
mean, I've heard 35 before,
Yeah.
okay?
I mean, all right, I'm just gonna put my foot in my mouth if I
Yeah,
keep.
you are. Stop
Yeah.
it. I'm just kidding.
So I guess I say all these things to kind of lay the groundwork for what we're going to talk about. If I had to send someone in, I said this on social the other day, if I had to send a ninja in to kill everybody in a competition, you would be the one I send. And that's I don't know anyone else like legit. I can't even think of, someone super well known that's done something at such a high level in all the sports. So it's really going to be fun to talk about what it took to get here. So let's go back to 2023. You had a shoulder injury, and this is something that I think stepping on the I don't know if you call it the platform, the floor, the CrossFit Games competition in 2025. Back in 2023, your shoulder was completely just trashed. So talk about that real quick, and then how that set you up for 2025, not 2024.
Yeah, so I mean it was over the years of just using it and abusing it basically. I mean I warmed up, I did all the things right, but just it just happened. So um I ended up with rotator cuff tear, labral tear. Um and I had put it off. Like it'd been bothering me for probably a couple of years, I would get cortisone shots, I would try to do PT, all the things, but nothing was working. So yeah, it was like spring, I think, April or so of 2023, I bit the bullet and did stem cell replacement. So did that in about April, and then I had to take the entire year off because it's if you guys don't know about it, it's like helps rejuvenate and heal itself. So it's supposed to help heal those tissues. So it takes time, right? So it actually took probably almost a year for it to fully recover. I mean, I couldn't even hold my arm over my head really, and because that would hurt, right? I couldn't hang from the bar. I mean, I could barely do a barbell, over the head. So that's how bad it was. And now, I still have a few little aches and pains in it, of course, but I would say from where it was, it's 90% better.
Yeah, and shout out to you by the way, because I got to see it firsthand. That's tough on an athlete. That's tough when you're literally, I would say, handicapped at that point into the things that you could do. And then knowing it was going to take that long. When did you start thinking about, all right, I want to try and qualify and make it to the CrossFit Games? When did that start to enter your head? Was that about a year out?
No, no, no. I mean, I've had it in my head since I did my first open back when I was 30. I think I was 36 or 37 and I did my first open, and I placed pretty high for that age group. I mean, that's a very competitive age group. I was like 600th or something like that.
Yeah.
I thought, "Oh, I mean, that's pretty cool." Like, the open is worldwide. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of people that do
Yeah, tens of
open.
thousands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
competition. And so like even in my age group at that point, there were probably 10,000. I don't know. I mean, a lot. I'm assuming around 10, maybe even 20,000. I don't know. But I ended up like 600 something. And that was, I think I was 26 or 36, I mean, 36, 37. And I thought, huh, I might be able to do that. And then every year I got a little higher, got a little higher. Of course, then when you go up an age group, so when I got into the 40 age group, I started doing really well. And I was like top 100. I think I was 75th at one point. and I would make it to the next level, which they've changed it. It's constantly changing, but so the open, you have the open and then you have quarterfinals or semifinals, one of the two. So I would always make it to that next level and then not make it past that level, right? So the quarterfinals, semifinals, from there you would go to the games. But I would still place pretty high in that 40 to 44 age group. Um, and then, yeah, so then I was like, okay, if I can do that, once I turn 45, I'm moving up an age group again. I'm like, I think I can do this. I think I can do this in the 40, um, 45 age group. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't. I mean, of course, I took 23 off. I didn't even do the open in 23 because I my shoulder was just too bad. There's no way. Um, Took that year off, and then once I did the open the following year, 24, and I did good again. I even coming out of the shoulder thing, I ended up doing pretty good, even though I wasn't at my best yet because I had taken a year off. And then so that from there, yeah, I was like, okay, next year's my year. I'm gonna be 20. I'm gonna be 20. I keep saying 20. I'm gonna be 45. I think I'm thinking the year 20, I'm gonna be 45. So I'm like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, so let's talk about a year out. All right. So it's 2024, exactly a year out. You go watch the CrossFit Games down in Birmingham, right? The
Oh yeah.
Masters. So you go down, check that out. You've got that locked into your mind. How big of a motivation was that? You've been going, you've watched the games before, but how big was that as far as you like putting it in your mind's eye? Like I'm gonna fucking be here. Like I belong here. How crucial was that for you?
I mean, I it was cool to go see it in person. That was the first year they took the masters and separated them from the open age group. So they had their own, into their own competition. The masters had their own competition, and I wanted to go see, how it was ran. Again, I was pretty close to getting there, but I didn't quite make it. And a friend of mine was competing, so I wanted to go kind of watch her in my own age group. Like we've been friends, and we met a few years ago, and I'm like, I want to go see her too. And yeah, just watching them, I'm like, I can do this. I can make that. I can make this happen. Like I can do this.
Yeah, let's
It's
talk
definitely
about
motivating.
yeah. To go watch. Now let's talk about doing comps to get you prepared because I went to watch you compete at the CrossFit Games and I was completely blown away. I was blown away at just the level of athlete that was there. Man, I just had a whole new level of respect after seeing that. So then going back about 8 months out, you qualify for this really big competition called the Legends Championship. They have it every single year. Matter of fact, I think it's going on right now this
Yeah,
week.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you made it. It was your second time. So I've seen this event. It was my second time seeing it, but how important is it to have a big stage like that to be on to prepare you for that next level? Because, we'll talk about Legends real quick because you did really well there. There's a ton of videos out there of you doing it. How important was it to get that one under your belt and to place well, 8 months out?
Well, individual competitions are so much different than the team competitions. Team
Yeah.
competitions are fun. I love team competitions or partner competitions. You've got your buddy next to you working out, you guys like, you're working together and not all the pressure is on you individually. So when you do an individual competition, like all the pressure is on you. And that's a whole different ball game. Like the adrenaline rush, the nerves, like literally the feeling of like you're gonna puke, basically. So getting that, and I'm still not good at it. Like after however many years actually I've only done like what I say four
Yeah.
individual competitions. I'm still learning. Like I'm still learning how to keep myself calm, how to deal with those feelings, deal with those emotions. But it's super important to do that so you figure it out before you go into a huge competition like the games, because it's even worse when you get there.
Yeah. And I know I'm gonna do a deep dive on that with you because I think there's something that's important, especially if people have never felt that,
Mm.
especially that level. And here you are, an elite athlete, still feeling that. So I want to go into that a little bit later. So now let's fast forward. You get
I have
qualified.
one
Yeah,
additional
yeah.
note here because I do think one of the great things about doing some individual competitions before something like the games is probably also learning how to well, fuel and manage your energy throughout a multi-event competition in one day. Because I mean, the open, it's like you have one workout of the day or a week or whatever, and you do that as best as you can. Maybe you're a crazy person and you repeat it again a couple of days later. At least that's what I remember. But then when you have like a full-on competition, it's like usually, you know, 5 or 6 events or however many it might be in one day. So like, how do I fuel between each workout? How do I like, do I eat something big in between or not? How do I manage my energy so that I can calm and rest down, but not too much so that I'm like deactivating and then I have a hard time getting going again. I would assume that that was one of the benefits as well.
Oh, absolutely, because you don't know how your body's going to respond. I mean, we go into the gym, we work out, typically once a day. Some people work out twice a day, but even then, you're not doing 100%, you're not giving your 100% effort in the gym every single day, multiple workouts a day. So you have to figure out what works for your body, what makes you feel good. And yeah, trial and error is the only way to figure that out. And
Mm.
then I mean, you can't just do it the game day and expect to know what to do. I mean, so yeah, so figuring that part out, that's hard. Yeah. And that's where these multiple individual competitions, multiple days too. I mean,
Mhm.
CrossFit Games was 4 days, 3, 4 days.
Wow.
So, you have to figure out how to recover too
Right.
between days, sleep and all that stuff. So yeah, multiple day individual competitions for sure was helpful
Right.
in figuring that out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should, Lisa, you bring up a good point. I think we should go in deep once we get into the CrossFit Games competition on food,
Hmm.
stuff between, like, I think that's important, Leslie, because there's somebody who's probably doing their first single person competition that has multiple events in a day, something like an HOA that just happened or something where people don't know what to do. There's piling food in. So I think we should go into that real quick. So now it's 2025, you're qualified, your training is about to change. You hire a coach, go ahead and shout Mike out, but talk about how your training changed going into the games versus all the other things that you normally do at CrossFit Republic.
Well, yeah, typically I would just follow the gym workouts. I was always doing other stuff on the side, like my Olympic lifting. I followed the Bergner strength. I mean, it's just he's like the best Olympic lifting coach out there, and his daughter is actually doing it now. But I was following the Bergner strength stuff to work on Olympic lifting and doing gym workouts. Well, of course, as you dial yourself in for something like this, I needed to work on my weaknesses. Gym workouts are amazing. Like, shout out to Macy and Zach and everybody else that have got me to where I'm at because I followed that. But then at this point, I needed to work on my weaknesses, my own personal weaknesses. So Mike, my coach Mike, he programmed specifically for me and working on my weaknesses and getting me more dialed in.
Yeah, and I remember just talking with you off and on as this is going because I've still never done a CrossFit workout. Half the exercises, I don't know what the hell they are, right? It's kind of a running joke at this point, but I'm always interested in recovery and deloads and things like that. So I get the feedback from you. So I know things on that end. You trained hard, like you trained so hard that very rarely do I ever see you say, I'm just so tired of having to show up and go 110% all the time. Like that, the level, how long did you have to train so hard that like it was a job. And I know people listening like bodybuilders are like, "Oh, that's what we do. We live the lifestyle 24/7." No, I'm talking about when you have to show up and train to the point of like I would imagine almost throwing up. Like you have to train that fucking hard for months. Like how was that on you mentally?
Well, I have to say I wouldn't train that hard every single day. That's not no, because then I mean I would burn myself out. My body wouldn't respond. Like there's no way I could go 100% every single day. Um, I would say I would go 85%. There might be 1 or 2 days that I would really, really like go extremely hard and like 100%. Like you're laying on the ground after the workout, like just dying.
Yeah.
I mean that happened quite often, yes, but I'm not I know my body and I know I cannot go 110% every single day. But that being said, I still had to push myself, right? And so I would, some days it was a 3 hour workout, some days it was two. I mean, and some days I had to split it up. I would do like a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the evening or afternoon, just between clients. Um, but yeah, but by the end, I was definitely like, okay, I am exhausted. I need a break. Um, the mental side of it, like thinking about my weaknesses, and I'm working on these ring muscle ups, which is my weakness, one of them, ring muscle ups 3 times a week. And when you just suck at something, it's so hard to go into the gym and work on it 3 times a week when you know you're going to suck at it and you know that you don't hate it, but like it's just hard. So the mental side of that, of making myself do the hard things every single day, you know, going into the gym, knowing that I'm going to push myself, I'm going to have to work hard. I'm going to have to, like it's exhausting. It really is. So by the end, I was ready to take a break, that's for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of the end, so it's time for the CrossFit Games now. It's August. We're headed up, but a couple weeks before that, something cool happened. We came out with a Team Franklin shirt and a tank top. And I say I'm blown away, but I'm not surprised because it's just the kind of person you are. We put out some cool shirts and said, "Hey, we want to put out a shirt and a t-shirt, not to try and sell and make a bunch of money, just to support you because it's a big deal. It's freaking CrossFit Games, right? This is the Olympia for most of us. And we know somebody and you're going, I think we sold like 50 shirts, and that may not sound like a lot to people. Go try and sell 50 shirts and see how well you do. I'm telling you right now, it's hard. We sold like 50 shirts of a bunch of people from the gym, a bunch of people from across the country that just wanted to wear it. The days you were competing, they were sending you messages. I remember you showing me like messages wearing their shirt, cheering you on, families with their little kids that had them. That was kind of cool. And then you had a whole crew show up. Were you expecting it to be like that? I was totally blown away.
Well, the shirts started with the crew that was going. They're like, "Hey, we need to get shirts uh,
Yeah,
to say something." I'm like, "Okay, well, we can do that. That's fine." And I was just going to make shirts for them to go. There
yeah,
was probably how many people went?
like 10 or so, something like that.
Yeah, maybe not quite 10, but yeah. So I was just going to make shirts for them. And then I think we just decided, I don't know why or how we decided to go try to
Some
sell
people
them.
asked for them. Some other people
I
asked for
think,
them.
yeah, maybe that's what it was. Like people started asking, like, "Oh, can I get one of those? Can I get one of those?" Yeah. So then we started selling them online, and yeah, I ended up selling a ton of them. I mean, I feel like it was more than 50, but maybe not.
It could have been,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, that was really cool because I was constantly getting messages. This one girl at the gym, she she's my biggest fan. That's what we call her. Her name's Josie. Oh my gosh, she wore her shirt. She even made a hat and
Oh.
like put a wrote on a card and put it on her hat, and like she sent a picture, her and her mom sent a picture of to me, cheering for me from home. So that was super special, just knowing that I had so many people cheering for me, behind the scenes, and even the people that went, like these are the people that I've worked out with in for what 6 years probably
Yeah.
at the gym in the mornings. We'll go in and work out together, and they came and watch. They spent hundreds of dollars to come and get stay and drive and pay to go in, to and they spent hundreds of dollars to go see me do this, which I mean, so special. And just them being there, I know, just people being there watching me, I know I'm going to push harder. If
Yeah.
I know there's people like the people that watch me and the people that cheer for me are the ones that make me push harder. It's not about me pushing myself harder or winning. Yes, I do that, but like if I know people are watching me and cheering for me, I'm going to give it my all.
Yeah, and it was fun for me because like I'm not really in your small little CrossFit community. I know everybody and we're all friends, but like know them, like you bleed with them in the gym all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I got to go with the camera and I got a whole bunch of video for you. We released reels and updates on you every single day, but I had a fun seat to that because I got to step back and I got to watch you and them. And I was like, that is super, super cool. And I got to see all of it, the good and the tough part, which is what we're going to talk about next. And that was the nerves. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, the first event, we get there, I go with you to check in. I'm doing all these videos. It's fun. Everybody's excited. Like it's a big to do and it's a big deal, right? There's videos everywhere. Um, and you get everything, but then it's time to like you're set with here's tomorrow is the day and your nerves were sky high. Um, I would say the first 2 days your nerves are sky high because you're trying to do so well that you qualify to make it to the last day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you talk about how hard that was? Like the nerves, because I don't think I've ever seen you as nervous ever in
Mhm.
my life before.
Well, I mean, I think the very first, no, I've never been that nervous in my life. No. Um, I do remember one time I was nervous. It was my very first Monster Games, my very first like big individual competition. I was nervous, but not like that. Not like the games nervous. Um, I don't know, I guess it's the pressure I put on myself to do well, but it's also the pressure of not letting people down. I know that sounds silly because nobody's going to be like, oh, she screwed up on that one. Nobody's going to even care. But in my mind, I don't want to let people down either. Like I want to do good. I want to not, not mess up, first of all. CrossFit's such a, you train hard and you go in and you don't know how these workouts are going to feel until you're there in the middle of it. You can test them, but usually you don't have time, but also you're not going to test them as hard as you do whenever you're there. So it's kind of like the unknown. Like you're going into the unknown. You don't know how it's going to feel, so and then oh, there was one workout. I don't even remember which one it was, but I was standing in the lineup, like in the corral area to get ready to go, and I was literally looking around for a trash because I thought I was going to puke.
Yeah.
I have never, I've never puked in a workout before. Like I push myself hard, but I'm not a puker. Oh, that I was literally looking around for this trash can just because I thought I was gonna puke. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, for,
you
for
know,
me, the first thing that came to mind when John asked this question was for me, it would be the unpredictability of things. Because if you're anything like me in the sense of you like planning, you like organizing, like as long as you know your routine, and with bodybuilding, you always know like this is what usually happens. With powerlifting, this is what usually happens. With
mhm,
CrossFit, it's literally be prepared for the unknown. Like, I mean, I think that's like one of their
mhm,
slogans, right? Or like the unknown and unknowable. So like
right.
that is part of it. That in and of itself would definitely like bring my nerves up really high.
I guess the difference, like, I've done bodybuilding. Um, when you get to stage, the hard part's done. You've done all the dieting, all the workouts. The stage is the easy part. That's the icing on the cake, right? Powerlifting, you go in, you've practiced the weight, you can do it. I mean, the last final lift, yeah, it's the highest one, and maybe you can't do it, but it's a squat. you know how to do it. You've done it several times. Um, so it's not, I mean, you're still going to get nervous, but not like this because CrossFit, like you said, these workouts are you don't know how it's going to feel till you get in there. Like that's the competition is the hard part. You've trained, yeah, the training is hard and everything, but then the week of the competition is the actual hardest part of the whole process because you're giving 100% of your effort every single day, multiple times a day with these workouts that you just don't even know how it's going to feel until you get into it. So it's a different ball game. It's a different beast.
Yeah, I'm sitting here watching again from the sidelines. And to put it in context, you look around and you see literally, legitimately the top 30 females over 45 in the world. And I'm just like, wow, like this is crazy. Like I get to see Leslie perform all the time. Now there's 30 of her. And, where is she going to stack up in that, which is the unknown. So now my freaking nerves are freaking nervous really bad for her. So I'm trying to record, but I'm also trying to be that guy I know she's nervous. I can't let her know I'm nervous. So we talk about little things. And I got to meet your coach, Mike, for the first time, so down to earth, so crucial to just kind of take you after each time he was able to see you and talk about the things that you needed to do and just kind of calm you and help with that. Let's talk about how you performed. You remember this better than I do, but in my opinion, you know, in bodybuilding, like you said, you get on stage and it's pretty much out of your hand. The judging is kind of subjective, but as long as you do all your things normal, like you present the package you place, the way that you place, and that just is what it is. In CrossFit, you literally have to perform. So it's that unknown that makes you so nervous. So all you can do is like do your best, try not to miss reps, try not to mess anything up, and you just do your best and then just kind of see where you land. I feel like you performed extremely well, especially in the events where you said ring muscle ups were your weakness. In my opinion, you crushed it on those. So talk about how you performed compared to everyone else.
Oh, compared to everyone else, I mean,
Well, I guess talk about your personal performance. If it were just Leslie against Leslie, did you do really well? But then we'll talk about where you placed, I guess, at the end.
right. So as far as like my own personal performance, I feel like I did my very best. Yeah, I had a few no reps. I mean, silly things like one of my hands didn't completely touch the mat on a GHD setup. Like little things. There
Yeah.
was maybe a handful of no reps the entire workout or the entire weekend or the week. Um, and I feel like I pushed myself as hard as I could. I executed as as well as I could, and I feel like I did my absolute best. And that's the crazy part to me is I pushed myself, I did my absolute best, and I still got what, 20th, 21st,
Just somewhere above the halfway mark. Yeah, just a little above the halfway mark. Yeah.
below the halfway mark. Because there
Yeah.
was, so yeah.
Almost
Um,
30. Yeah.
so it was crazy to me that I did everything I could, all the training that I did, like executing the workouts pretty perfectly for me. And I still was not in the top half, which that was the goal. I mean, my goal was always just to make it there. Like that was my goal, make it there. And whatever I do, right? Because I had never been there. And then I get into it, of course, and I start setting these new little goals. So, of course, my next goal, once I started competing, I was like, ooh, that'd be really cool. Make it to the top half so I can, because the final day, only top half got to go on. Like, oh, let's make it to the top half. So that was my next goal once I got there. I didn't make it to the top half. There was just enough workouts that I didn't do as well. And I ended up in, I believe, 21st. Um, which is still cool. Like like I said, I just went in to do it and it was check it off my bucket list and I did the very best I possibly could and that got me 22nd or 21st. And you know what? That's okay because those women were insane. Like incredible competition, incredible strength and endurance and I mean, to get 21st next to those women, I mean, it's an honor. So I was happy with it.
You know, the community, I got to see that. And I remember making a post and I said, "Hey, one of the best communities I've ever seen is powerlifting." I said, "Until now." I said, "The CrossFit community, the way you guys support each other and come together, it's probably the best community that I've ever seen." But the bodybuilding community is, it's kind of, it's all right. You've got really good, you've got really bad. Powerlifting's really good. CrossFit blows everything away. I loved that. I loved watching the top freaking people, like the girl that won, Kelly Friel. So like she just came up, like you guys talked, like everybody was supporting everyone. No one thought about, Leslie's placing 21st or 8th or any of that stuff. Like I just thought that was super cool. And I think the thing I wanted to ask you about is, seeing that you're going to compete if you decide to go back, which we'll talk about here at the end, going from the 45 to 49 before people switch over to the 50 plus, right? We were talking in the car on the drive, and I said, I'm not the expert, but in my opinion, it's more who can hold on to everything they have as you go from 45 to 50. No one's really getting stronger. And I think that's things that people don't understand. Like, you're not going to get stronger. Maybe you can improve a little bit, but in my opinion, Leslie, tell me if I'm wrong. Is it more about who can hold on to what they have the longest? You think that's part of a strategy, really?
Well, yeah, because I mean, yeah, at this point, I'm not getting stronger. I mean, if anything, I'm getting weaker. I know that that sucks to say, but I am. I mean, my body is getting older. My joints are hurting more, I mean, just muscle, tendons, all the things are starting to get weaker. So is as long as, yeah, as long as you can hold on, you can keep your endurance, you can get better at endurance, like that's fine. You can get better at the movements. You can get more proficient at ring muscle ups, for instance. You can get more proficient at what we had pistol squats, which was kind of crazy for old people to
Those
do
are
pistol
freaking
squats.
crazy.
You know, like you can get better at a movement by practicing it, but your body is also still getting older. So I do feel like at this point, and unless I'm starting to like I start working on ring muscle ups more and getting better at those. Yeah, I'm not gonna end up getting stronger or anything like that. I just need to hold on to what I have at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
So
what's your biggest thing that you learned? I know it's kind of hitting you out of the blue, but
mhm.
we come back to that if you can't think of something off the top of your head. But was there something that just stood out to you and you're like, "Ooh, I learned that. I'm going to put that away in my toolbox. I've now got that is if I want to do this again."
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Hmm. That's a hard one as far as something that I learned.
I
Yeah,
would
what
venture
about
to argue that with a sport like that, the more competitions like that at that level that you do, the more you're able to regulate your nerves or you're maintaining your calm throughout that probably. So I would say if you went back next year or whatever year, you'd at least have an idea of like the type of atmosphere to expect, and even just the having that expectation in and of itself is probably somewhat calming, I could imagine.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, that I mean, it's funny you say that because that's actually one thing I was gonna say is I learned how I react to that. I learned that, oh my gosh, I need to figure out I need to figure out how to calm my nerves. And by the third day, was it the third day I did, like I was better. I mean, I learned how to kind of keep myself more calm and relax a little bit and not get so stressed out and nervous. It's funny, the very last workout, the very last day, in my heat. So there's multiple heats, and there was the top heat and then the second heat, right? And we were in the second heat. And I guess maybe it was because we knew we weren't going on to the final. But all of us were just like joking around. The guy that was lining us up, he was joking around. We started talking about menopause, and the guy has a wife and a daughter. The wife is like starting to get into menopause, and the daughter is starting to get into puberty. And he's
Poor
like,
him. He's
I know,
screwed.
he's screwed. He was talking to us about that. And he said something about crazy, and we're like, you don't say that word, and I mean, we're just joking around. So right before we get to go into the lineup, we all put our hands in and 1, 2, 3, menopause. Like,
Oh,
and it
that's
was,
awesome.
yeah, I mean, it was so fun. We were all just having a blast back there. So finally, the third day, we're all like nerves are kind of gone, and I mean, we're having fun.
And I'm sure with time, everybody develops their own little strategies of like what enables me to stay calm, whether it's breathing exercises or just putting in music, or like I do better when I go to the bathroom and sit in the stall for a few minutes, just am on my own, or maybe I'm better when I keep talking to John and distracting myself. Like you don't
Yeah.
know until you know.
Yeah. I mean, distractions for sure. I would say that's my best strategy is just distractions. If I can have some, I start talking to people, like if we're standing there in line, I'm just chit-chatting with other girls and yeah, and it helps keep me more calm. I mean, even my friends being there, I talk about Macy, he's been my coach, mentor, good friend since I started at CrossFit Republic 6 years ago. We've done multiple competitions together, and he can calm me down. He'll tell me strategies, and he'll talk to me, and he's really good at that. John's okay at it. He's uh, but yeah, Mike was good at it too. My coach Mike, he was really good at. He'd pray for me before I would go out every time, so that helped a lot. But yeah, just those little things you learn. I mean, by doing it. So yeah.
I can imagine, you only can make it to the CrossFit Games so many times to prepare yourself for those nerves. So for me, it would be like if I publicly speak, put me in front of anywhere I can publicly speak, as long as I know what I will not get nervous. You put me on a stage in front of 10,000 people, my nerves are going to be through the roof. And the only way to get past that is to present in front of 10,000 people numerous times, and you just won't get that opportunity. So I'm hoping, if this is something you decide to go on and do, there's more things like the Legends Championships and there's other things like that that you can go do, put yourself under that massive pressure to be ready for it. And then finally, I want to talk about just I think there's a lot that goes into an athlete, and I saw a lot of people there supporting their athlete, right? Whether it was a coach, you kind of bonused out because you had Mike there, you had me there, you had Macy there to talk to you. I know I was running back and forth like Leslie needed water or Leslie needed her priest.
He was being my little bitch.
Basically,
Not
whatever
kidding,
she,
like not even kidding. Like I'm like, I need this. And he'll go get it. And then he'll come back and I need this. Yeah.
yeah. Which, as even though I wasn't her coach, like you were the support system, but I think it was important. I watched everybody else and all the athletes need to do on a day like that day. It's kind of like when an athlete's backstage for me. I try and do everything I can so they can just concentrate on what it is they have to go do. And I think that's important, to not have that kind of teamwork probably would make that hard. Um, an easier question then, instead of your biggest thing learned, is what was your most enjoyable part? And then what was the least favorite? I think we know the least favorite, but maybe there's something else. So what was either one? Most enjoyable and then least and favorite?
Well, I mean, I really enjoy getting to know the women that I compete with. That to me is great. Like I said, this friend of mine that I went and watched last year at um at Masters Games, I competed with her at Legends in what, 22, 21?
Yeah, 22. Yeah.
So we met there and we stayed in contact, just messaging back and forth. And then she ended up making it this year as well. So we were competing against each other. But I mean, it was cool to just get to hang out with her and talk to her and then meet the other ladies that some of them I actually had competed with as well at Legends. And, just getting to meet all of them and hear their stories and just getting to know them. That was awesome. Plus all my friends being there, supporting me. Like we went and hung out afterwards and had Mexican and went and sat in the hot tub and so like the experience of it all to me is the most fun part. Um, the worst part, of course, is the nerves. I mean, I don't know, like what else to say. That just the nerves of it all, like not sleeping. Like I get so nervous that I just can't hardly sleep. So I'm tired. So I'm living on caffeine, and But yeah, and then what I mean, as far as workouts, like they're all gross.
Yeah.
So I would say the
Yeah.
worst part was the 4.5 mile run we had to do. That was stupid.
That started it. That was the first event. Everybody went
Yeah,
in the first event, which you
nobody.
did really well in,
I
like,
did actually. I mean, better than I expected. My little short legs don't run long
yeah.
distances, so I was pretty happy though with how I did on that one. It was actually one of my best scores, I think.
Yeah.
Like one out of 7 or 8 scores, I think that was like my third best score, maybe.
Yeah. It's interesting. You did the best in the things that weren't your strengths. The ring muscle up event, whatever that was, you did really well there and you did really well in the
Yeah, that
run.
was ended up being my highest score, I think was that ring muscle up one. I
Let's
mean, just
talk
kind of goes
about,
to show though, working on the weaknesses. I mean, I ran a crap ton. I rode a crap ton because I'm not good at the machines, being short and little, like not good. So I rode so much. Mike could tell you, like I rode so much. I was about to blow my brains out. And then I ran a ton and I worked on ring muscle ups constantly. So, I mean, obviously it shows that I worked on my weaknesses and it worked.
yeah, balanced everything out. Let's talk about the weeks post comp and how your nervous system was just fried. And obviously people understand overreaching, like you train so hard that you need a deload. This was kind of that next level, but then you had, I mean, 3 days of just massive, hard, numerous workouts a day, 100% all in, nerve, sleep. And then you have the high of everything and the adrenaline of everything. And now the comp's over. I don't think people know what to expect happens. Talk to them about what this always happens to you after a big event like this, and it's common. So talk about what happened with getting sick and stuff like that.
Well, I didn't get sick after this one, but normally I do. I think it
You just had extreme
I
fatigue.
got
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I honestly normally I do get sick. Like I get a cold or something after I mean, it never failed. I mean, after even the semifinals that I did, I got sick. The semifinal is the
Qual-
qualifier for the games, and I got sick after that was over. I got sick after Legends one year, both years. I got sick during Legends one year.
Yeah.
In the last Legends, I got sick afterwards. This year games I did not get sick, but I also no, I said I was going to take a week off from working out, and I'm telling you, I took a whole week off from working out because I did not want to even do anything. Like I'm going to sit on my butt is what I'm going to do for a week. And I mean, I think I did. I made it well, I maybe made it 5 days. I mean, it's a business week. I
Yeah.
mean, I made it a business week without working out.
But you were tired for weeks afterwards.
Oh,
Your
yes.
fatigue
And
was massive.
literally sleeping, I would sleep like 9, 10, sometimes 11 hours a night. And I mean, sleep,
I mean,
so.
yes, so common. It's crazy that you say that's always the case for you, but I am sure we all know people that they have like a big business thing or whatever that they fight through, and then they go on vacation and they get sick on vacation, and they're always so surprised. And it's like it's not really that surprising. You're running on adrenaline, you're running on all cylinders. Your body's just like keeping you going because it knows it has to, and then when it gets to relax, it's like all letting it all come in basically.
Yeah.
I want to talk about one thing, go back and talk about something because people that know, you're an elite diet coach. Like you do this at a high level. So you handle your own diet and training. You have since like 2018, really. Like you've always kind of done it yourself, but you handled your food. Going back to your bodybuilding days and your powerlifting days, I remember your total calories. If we got you up to like back when I was helping you coach, if you got to 2000 calories, that was pretty good. You could
Mm.
actually gain some body fat if you ate over that, right? It's
Yeah.
a whole different ball game eating for CrossFit because I saw you put so much food up and that just speaks to, the metabolic effects of CrossFit. First of all, like your rate goes through the roof, but then you burn calories for 24 hours after each workout because they're HIIT style workouts. Talk about your food that you were trying to get in, like in that leading up to CrossFit Games.
Well, I mean, I sort of did my own nutrition, but no, but Mike actually did part of my nutrition too. Like he would tell me how the macros to hit basically. So we started out with around 150 grams of protein. I think I was at 275 carbs and like 80 grams of fat. Well, as we went progressed into more volume and it got closer to the games, we kept adding carbs, adding carbs, adding carbs. We finally towards the end we lowered my protein just a little bit, basically maintenance protein, 125 grams, because well that's my body weight. So I was basically maintenance on protein, but he was trying to get me to have 400 carbs a day.
Yeah.
And then like the 75, 80, 85 grams of fat, just to fuel me, just to keep, and honestly, like my weight didn't move. You know, I had to eat that much just to maintain my body weight. Not even like, not even trying to grow or put on muscle or anything like that. Literally just to maintain my body weight. And it's funny, if I didn't hit I don't know if I hit 400 carbs, to be honest. Like that was hard for me. Um, I would be hitting about 350 most days. He was trying to get me to do 400, but I couldn't. Um, but on the days that I wouldn't hit that much because I was just sick of eating, like I could not eat anymore, my weight would drop.
Yeah.
It never failed. Like, yeah, if I didn't hit my carb goal, yeah, my weight would drop. And so I'm like, okay, crap. Now I need to, I need to make sure I eat enough tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um,
Or drink. I remember at some
yeah.
point you started to drink. Like talk about a couple of the little quick snacks that you would have that kind of just helped that didn't have a lot of volume.
Yeah, I would do a lot of our performance fuel. So at least 2 scoops of that a day, which was 40 carbs right there.
Yeah.
Um, I would do juice. I would make smoothies. I would make these huge smoothies. Not huge, but I mean they were huge and I would put like between the fruit and then juice, yogurt, and all the things. They would have like 75 grams of carbs in one smoothie that I would drink. I basically throughout the day, like if I'm coaching, I would be
Yeah.
drinking this smoothie the whole hour that I was coaching, just trying to get that in. Um, I would do the little fruit sticks or fruit strips. I mean, there's sugar and fruit. I mean, they're like a kid's snack. You put in your kid's lunchbox. I would be eating those multiple times a day. Granola bars, super easy to get in. What else?
Well, I know that, during this whole time, you're also training, mostly full time at CrossFit Republic. So, like, you're on the floor, you're either
Yeah,
teaching these giant classes or you're training your clients one on one. So, like, you're just trying to get food in on the go, which is hard
right.
in and of itself. Then you
Yeah.
got 3 hours of your day that you're training. And I don't think you're doing a whole lot of carbs during your training, right? Like, I don't
Well,
think you're doing a ton, were you?
I would put at least a scoop, scoop and a half, sometimes two of the performance fuel
Yeah.
in
So
my
that helped then. Yeah.
yeah, in my water or in my mixture, my creatine and my pre-workout and stuff
Yeah.
in while I was training. But yeah, I mean, of course I would try to eat some healthy stuff. But it's
Yeah.
hard to eat that many carbs healthy. So, but I would have, when dinners, I would have my normal, chicken or beef and rice or something like that. Sweet potatoes, healthy stuff like that, eggs. I mean, I did a lot of eggs and um, wraps, like tortilla wraps with eggs and or sourdough bread or something like that. Yeah, I would go home and I would have like, I don't know, 30, 45, 50 carbs left for the day. And I would literally take a piece of sourdough bread and put honey on it and like eat that because like
Yeah.
just to get in what I needed to get in. It sounds, people are like, "Oh my, why are you complaining?" But man, I would be so full. I just wouldn't want to eat. And it's hot. It was summertime, Typically, people don't want to eat as much in the summertime anyway, because it's hot. Yeah,
You
it'd be
definitely need to
torture.
stay on top of digestion as well. I mean, you can't eat 400 grams of carbs from like potatoes and oats and whatever. You're going to be bloated
Oh, no.
as crap, and yeah, that
No.
would not work. So really, that's one of the things when I increase carbs with clients or myself, like we cannot stick with the same quote unquote diet foods as before. That's not, and just simply increase the volume. You're going to ruin your gut if you do that.
Oh yeah, no, there's no way I could eat that much of healthy carbs. I mean, it sucks to say that. Like I couldn't. Rice, potatoes, yeah, no, there's no way.
Yeah, being a perpetual fat guy, I'd rather just constantly be a little hungry than full all the time. I just see people that have to do it and I just feel for them like it's miserable. I'd rather be a little hungry. Finally, the last thing, something fun to ask you here. I'm going to kind of put you on the spot.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
because I don't know if anything's set in
Question that
stone.
every single person question. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I might be a little bit at fault for this. I might
Uh-huh.
poke to the bear a little, but
Uh-huh.
what's possibly next for you?
Well, I mean, I still love CrossFit, but I'm still burned out from it, to be honest. Like it's what, how many months did we say it was now?
Five.
Yeah, five.
4 months post. I did do HOA with my buddies, and that was fun. That was in October. Yeah,
Yeah.
October. And then I do have another little fun CrossFit competition in January that I'm going to do. Again, a fun one with some friends, um, a 4-person team. So, those are 4-person team competitions are fun. Um, but I do have a bucket list of things. I'm that person that I have to have goals and I have to have something to shoot for, new things, different things. And I have I have this little bucket list of things I want to do, and I have not yet got on the IFBB Pro stage. I won my pro card, in what, 18? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won my pro card in 18. I tried to get on stage in 2020. I dieted down. I was like 3 pounds away, something like that. That was Jason prepped me on that one, Jason Theobald. And then, of course, everything was canceled or moved till like September, and this was April or May, April, May, and I was almost ready. I was not going to try to hold on to that until September. So that got canceled. So yeah, so I have not gotten on the IFBB Pro stage yet. So that's probably what I'm going to do this year. I mean, I've almost decided that that's where I'm going. Take a little break from CrossFit. Are you clapping?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm excited, like, oh,
Three.
this is gonna be exciting.
Yeah, I'll see how I do. I mean, I'll be a master's. So I'm thinking figure because I just like figure. I probably fit better in wellness, but my heart's with figure because I've always been a figure girl, and I don't mind the wellness look. I'm just not a fan of the posing. I like the figure posing, but I may try both. We'll see. But yeah, so shooting for maybe a late summer show, maybe. I got to find a master's pro show to do,
Yeah.
but
It's there's a lot of them and this is so I put out on social that this was my last year traveling to all the shows. Everybody like, "Oh my God, you're going to stop coaching after this year?" No, listen, stop, people. Like we've got
you
Leslie's
out.
involved and Leslie is heavily involved. Like we've got big things that we're doing for the businesses this year. And it's going to take everything that I have and that she has, right? And our whole team. So I'm just not going to be able to travel to all the shows like I've always done for like the last 20 years or so. So I said that, and like out of the woodwork comes a bunch of our old clients and friends. And I look at Leslie and I'm like, hey, listen, you're burned out of CrossFit. I really think you should. So I kind of put the bug in your ear a little bit, but you've already had it back there anyway at some point. Like, when am I going to check that box? So
Yeah.
if you do it this year and we get to all go do that together, we're not only do you and I get to go do one more thing like that one more time on stage, because it may be your last time ever, and then I get to also have my other clients there and people that have wanted to step on stage with you because you haven't been on stage since 2018. Even your friends like Melissa Serrano is now an IFBB pro.
Yeah.
You guys could actually be on stage together. Like, how fun would that be?
Yeah, we talked
And
about it.
yeah, Karen Raw won her pro card. Like, I've got all these people. Renee's trying to go for a pro card. Carrie's trying to go for a pro card. This whole thing could culminate into some fun at the end of the day. It's all about, when we're old and gray and 80 years old and little Gigi is, 25 wanting to train in the gym, she can look at Grandma Leslie and be like, my grandma was a badass. So it's like, I just, I'm going to just keep going on and on. I'm super excited to see you compete, especially
Yeah.
in figure, because I know that's where your heart's at. So I think that would be pretty cool.
I
Amazing.
mean, I may get blown away, but you know what? It's all about just doing it. Just
You
like
never know
I
until you
guess my
try.
goal, yeah, my goal for CrossFit Games was just to do it, and see where I stand. So as far as like IFBB Pro figure, I'm kind of small. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of small for that, but I'll just go in and see how I do. I mean,
Yeah, it's one of those things. Your last 8 years have been dedicated to CrossFit. They have not been dedicated to bodybuilding. They've not been dedicated to grow your delts as big as possible and train like a bodybuilder. You've built yourself to make it to a CrossFit Games, which you did, right? But the thing is, your physique holds up really, really well. Like I saw you pose the other day next to Renee, and I want to see how you were both sitting. It's like you haven't lost a step or anything. So you've got a really good look. I'm just excited for it. Lisa, is there anything else that you can think of? I know we're starting to go a little long here. Any other questions for Leslie or stuff we may have left out? Is it making
No.
you miss CrossFit? Let me ask you.
It's making me wish that I could come and travel there and support you in that way also. It sounds
aw,
wonderful, and I know how much the community aspect of CrossFit really shines. It is one of the most special aspects, I think, that definitely makes CrossFit unique. But yeah, just thank you for sharing a bit of that journey with us, with me, with the audience. It's been super interesting. And other than that, I just wanted to say once again that next year in July, that's going to be when the next Fat Muscle Project meetup is essentially, or academy. And I'm repeating it already this early just because after last episode, when we mentioned it for the first time, I've had a couple of people reach out and say, like, oh, I'm going to make sure to try and travel there. So it's not too early to tease it, I think.
Yeah,
no,
July,
not at
the
all.
weekend of July 24th. Yep, it'll be here in Springfield, Missouri. It's our 10th anniversary. It's going to be a blast. And speaking of things coming up, we're really about to kick off hardcore a lot of podcasts when it comes to just transforming your physique. So we're going to go hard in 2026. Leslie, I'm sure we'll have you back on. We'll talk about all the different ways to set up your diet, carb cycling, different training methods, basically how to transform your physique. We're going to go in on that hard. And I've got quite a few lectures actually that I want to give on the show that we'll release as audio, but also on YouTube. So lots of good stuff coming soon. We are going to call it a day here for myself, Leslie, and Lisa. We're out of here. See you guys.
You guys.